Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another session of podcast. I wish and I'm sure you will enjoy listening to the broadcast.
We're going to talk about the spleen today. The spleen is the forerunner of as a defense system of your body, as the immunity king of your body. That's what builds up your immunity. But the spleen has so many more functions apart from that. Okay, so today we look at the functions and the health of the spleen and how it's associated or connected to your entire being. So, sir, we start with the function of the spleen. We never look at spleen as, while we know so much about the kidney or heart, etc. There's so much information and doctors talk about it. Very little is really spoken about the spleen apart from maybe damage or an enlarged spleen. Could you tell us a little bit about the functions of a spleen?
In the human physiology, you have something called lymphatic system.
Right.
So you must have heard about lymphatic system. So there are a number of organs which are part of this lymphatic system. One is adenoid. Second is tonsils. Adenoid is in the throat behind the nasal cavity, and which we cannot see visually. Tonsils you can see. That's what the doctors ask you to open the mouth and put a torch and see the tonsils is swollen or whatever. And also they also see the white deposit on the tongue. Mainly they see the tonsils. These two. Then you have the thymus here behind the thoracic, inside the thoracic region. Thoracic region is what the rib cage is the thoracic region. In between the two lung, behind the bone, there is something called thymus gland, which produces thymus hormone. Then you have the spleen, which is the biggest organ. That is next to our stomach, behind
on the left-hand side.
Yeah, left-hand side. It is about 4.5, close to 5 inches in length, 3 inches in width, and 1.5 inch in thickness. And it's purple in color. Of course, it has its own connection to the liver and the pancreas also.
Pancreas as well, yeah.
So, it is a part of lymphatic system. So, what is lymphatic? The word is lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are the WBCs.
WBCs.
So, the functions of this thing is he's a blood regulator, blood filter, blood cleaner, strengthening of the blood. Whatever you may call, number of words you can call, spleen does the work. One work it does is carefully monitor the status of the RBCs, red blood corpuscles. RBCs are the one which has the hemoglobin, which has to carry oxygen and go to all parts of the body and given. They have to, capillaries are the 1/16th of the human hair, which is the thinnest blood vessel in the body. RBC is bigger than the tubular hole of the capillary. So it has to squeeze itself and go. All kind of work they do by traveling miles and miles and miles inside the body. So they get broken. The lifespan of an RBC is only 6 months. So they get old.
6 months, okay.
Yeah. Then they are broken, they are damaged. So all these fellows are filtered. Now, 25% of your spleen, putting it in general, I don't want to go to too many terminologies, does this job. And, then that gives a signaling system to the body, the RBC producing centers, that this much of RBC is filtered. So, these filtered RBCs are, they are separated into, the hemoglobins are separated into heme and globin, and there are so many things happens. To tell you generally, the collection of these fellows are sent to the liver. Liver neutralizes certain things and balance they convert it into bile. They don't waste any material, liver.
Yeah.
This is one part of the function, and they also store platelets and WBCs. Yeah, when there is a problem, there is a need, there is a shock, whatever, they release it in the blood. And then the 75% of the spleen will regulate the WBCs. And all the pathogens, they get killed there. You get antibody-coated bacteria into the spleen, they will neutralize them. and mainly this meningitis and pneumonia bacteria are constantly killed in the spleen. So spleen is the one which gives strength to your blood. Blood is also an organelle. All the other organs are stationary. Blood as an
Fluid
organelle is a fluid which goes to all parts of the body. That's all the work. And the lymphatic system will have their own network of vessels or more of capillaries. And the lymphatic fluids flow into that. So what the thymus gland does is they produce a hormone which will make the T cells get matured to fight to create antibodies, to fight pathogens, kill pathogens and whatnot. You understand?
Yeah.
And adenoid, what it does, all through air and sensory organs, whatever viral load comes in, they hold them there.
They block it over there.
Whatever food through which things go in, the tonsils, unwanted microbial load, they will hold them there. So these are all the defense mechanism of our immune system. Is lymphatic, is the name concept given to it. That is adenoid, tonsils and thymus, and spleen is one of the biggest organ compared to all these other three fellows. And this is what is the function of the spleen.
So what function does the spleen play in digestion?
No, I don't think so. Spleen has got
It's
any
not-
role to
it's
play in
not a
digestion,
role.
even though it is connected to the pancreas. And
Pancreas.
then it has its own, in anatomy, it has its own connection to the liver. Spleen is not playing any role in the digestion at all.
Okay. So it's
Because we can call it this way by strengthening up the blood. That proper balance of hematology is required for your digestion.
okay.
Yeah.
So there is something I have read about where the spleen is supposed to be the seat of the spirit and the intellect of an individual. While I didn't understand it too much, could you elaborate a little more on that? Why is it called that?
Yeah, when you come to the modern science, when you go through the modern science, the basics, what we are talking, is they call, there are two words here, the psyche and the soma. The word psyche is a Greek word for soul, means
Right.
soul.
Soul.
Psyche, soma. Soma is body.
Body.
Now, most of the diseases, if you see, you go to pathology, there is a branch called psychosomatic disorders.
Psychosomatic disorders.
Yeah. So now, the first thing what we need to understand, basically with our common sense, as you go through the science or understanding of nature or whatever you call it, science is nothing other than trying to understand the facts of nature. One of it is the nature-created human body, which comes under the physiology, anatomy, pathology, all those kind of things. Normalcy and the abnormalcy of the human chemistry and whatnot. Now, every organ in the body has their own relationship with the other organs. Like you are at home, you are married, you have children, you have your parents or you have your grandparents or whatever, you may have your in-laws, you all live together in a house. Each one is related to other, right?
Right.
And each one communicate with the other.
Right.
Same thing what happens in the body. Every organ inside the body is having their own relationship definitely with all the other organs, mainly with the brain. Now they have established the fact in microbiome, the gut flora, the lactobacillus gut flora, is having direct communication with the flora in the brain
With the brain.
through the vagus nerve. So it is all, when you go to quantum biology, you can understand many things with respect to quantum tunneling and the signaling systems. So what we are unable to understand at the moment with the strength of the modern science so far traveled is the kind of levels of communication what's happening inside, which I would call it as chemical communication. You understand?
Yeah.
We don't use chemical communication, right? We don't know what it is. What communication you are using, I am talking to your mobile phone and you are talking to my mobile phone, or you are coming on my Skype. All those things are electromagnetic signals. Yeah, that's the only communication we know. Body does subatomic level communication. not even atomic level. The proton-electron level communications, which we will call it as chemical communication, to the level of subatomic. So it's too difficult for us to arrive at the moment with the strength of modern science. What exactly is what?
Okay.
I don't think so. It's possible today, maybe tomorrow, in future.
So, and the spleen also plays a role in emotions, especially aggressive emotions like anger or frustration. How are these emotions associated with the spleen?
I have also read this, but one thing that I do not know exactly, they are not able to define it exactly. You must have seen that. But one thing I know, spleen has its own communication with the brain. In the ancient text and all, if you see, one thing I have come across, there are timings. A day is calculated between sunrise to sunrise, not 12 midnight to 12 midnight. That's in modern science.
That's in modern science.
In traditional science, it's sunrise to sunrise. So there are timings with which there are many parameters work inside the body. If you see the hardcore traditional people, they will have their meal before 8:30.
Yeah.
Between 9 and 11, they don't even drink water. These 2 hours of 9 and 11, there is no intake. And their next meal is, after 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something small. Or one meal they have it at around 5:36.
So you mean 9 and 11 in the morning?
9 and 11 is a time which is the time for the spleen and the brain.
Okay.
At that time, you are not supposed to eat anything. There are a lot of communication happens between the spleen and the brain.
9 to 11 in the morning.
9 to 11 in the morning. So like how a group of people live inside the house who communicate with each other, who live in harmony, who speak to each other, who serve each other, who help each other, whatever you call it, as a broad spectrum of human beings living together. As one unit, we have different organelles inside, have their own relationship. It has to have their own relationship. Otherwise, I am not going to agree to you, you are not going to agree to me, then we are not going to live under the same roof. Correct?
Yeah.
If I don't agree to you, you are not going to live and I am not going to live with you together, right? It gets broken. There is a harmony inside wherein there are so many organelles have to work together. Then they have to have their own communication, relationship, everything from one to another. So this is obviously from the common sense point of view one can understand.
Yeah.
But modern science is yet to establish that fact. As they start studying more of microbiome and quantum biology, we will be able to arrive at something in modern science, whereas traditional science is very clear. Yes.
So coming to the ailments of the spleen, what are the typical ailments of the spleen apart from, a ruptured spleen or something, but based on lifestyle or, exercise or lack of it rather, what are the ailments that one can expect on the spleen and how should one keep the spleen healthy?
See, spleen is indirectly the most responsible organ for our healthy living.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
That's for sure, yeah.
When spleen gets damaged in accidents, in modern science they remove the spleen because they can repair it.
Right.
That's a different part of it. We will not talk about it. When you get infected, if you see the COVID-19 patients, if you see their radiology, most of them got higher symptoms. The spleen is swollen because he's trying to fight so many COVID population there. The spleen is swollen. If the spleen goes weak with its function, then your lymphatic system is on the weaker side.
And you're more prone to infection.
More prone to infection. So spleen has to work efficiently. unless the spleen is efficient, unless the spleen is good enough in its role, in its responsibility as an organelle inside the body, one will have a good immune system. Otherwise, your immune system is going to be on the lower side. You will pick up infections very fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, the lymphatic system, where the spleen is the headquarters in my book, which keeps you guarded from pathogens and make sure that nobody, no outsiders, foreigners come and disturb you. This is what is the role of the spleen.
So when the spleen is not functional to its maximum, you can expect infections, low immunity, and maybe
suppose, see, if I am in contact with a tuberculosis person when he was manifesting the disease, I may get infected, but I may not manifest tuberculosis.
Right.
This infection has come in. If you say in India population, 1 in 4 is a carrier of tuberculosis. It is there in the liver, little bit of that bacteria or whatever microorganisms you call it. When your immune system is low, it breeds very fast and hits you.
Faster, yeah.
So you manifest the tuberculosis disease.
True.
Yeah.
Also, are people anemic? People who are where the spleen is not functioning, are they more anemic than the others?
Anemic conditions are due to number of reasons. It's not only the spleen.
It's not only the spleen.
Why this person has become anemic? See, suppose you are a piles patient and you start, bleeding every day. You become anemic. Suppose you have cardiovascular problems. You become anemic. Suppose you have a leaking gut. You become anemic. So there are number of reasons are there for anemic conditions.
It can't be only this.
It can't be only this. There is no one reason. There are innumerable number of reasons for anemic conditions. We have to identify in that patient. Then he will come and say, sir, I have piles and every day some amount of blood goes through my stools and all that. Then the doctor will know, okay, the anemic condition in this person is due to this.
It's due to this.
Because rest all the investigation proves correct. He is perfect. Only here there is a problem, and that is leading to anemic conditions.
So you touched upon removing of the spleen. Is it possible for a person to function normally or as normal as possible if the spleen is removed?
Which the approach of modern science is, if they know that removal of an organ is not going to endanger his life, that he is not going to die, they will remove without knowing what's happening. Then you're definitely you're weak. If you remove one leg from a chair which has 4, the 3 legs may be stronger, but still the chair is weak.
The chair is weak.
Yeah.
Right. So finally, what are the remedies in ancient Tamil science regarding the spleen and taking care of the spleen? Is it through diet, or what remedies are there? How does one take care of the spleen?
The ancient guys were, very, very brilliant, because they have understood spleen is the power of zinc.
You did mention it.
Yeah, the power of zinc. So we do have zinc medicines which is produced directly from metal zinc in modern science, in pharmacology. But the ancient science have zinc related medicine not from zinc. They do have, those days they had, it's called Tuttanagam they had, but they have a lot of number of medicines which are from the vegan sources. One is Seendil Kodi, that's highest zinc powered plant.
Sorry?
It's a creepers. It's called Seendil Kodi, it's a creeper.
Seendil
Kodi means
Kodi.
creeper. And when you make medicines out of it, you can strengthen up your spleen.
Okay.
Oh, very good. It is a phenomenal medicine for spleen.
Okay.
When we know that all your conditions are good, your immune systems are not good, that means they know that you are weak with your spleen. Immediately step up your spleen.
So
if your spleen is stronger, COVID-19 will not have many symptoms in your body. It can be answered.
So what about drumstick leaves? I heard that it's very high in zinc and good for the spleen. Is that right?
They have trace mineral maybe. Drumstick leaves are good enough for beta-carotene and iron power. Not for spleen. Not for spleen, yeah.
Okay.
Sindil Kodi is the highest for spleen. If you know how to make medicine out of it, effortlessly within 11 days, we can step up your spleen to the topmost condition.
Wow.
That's for sure.
And are there any foods through which on a regular
Food
basis?
is only one thing. We discussed about the dietary part also. Food is very simple. There are two mantras in food. One is whatever you're used to, your levels of your traditional food, stick to that. But two mantras are fresh cooked food, timely food. These two things are must. You cannot eat one day in one time. You cannot eat in highly processed food, too much of them, and then refrigerated food. Fresh cooked food, as hot as you can have. If you say that I am so busy, I don't have time, then you decide your time.
Thank you very much for spending your quality time. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you enjoyed this session. See you later.